One of the beauties of this is that every day at 4 o'clock, all 1,000 cows walk right by me. I can see all of them. Who's limping? You know, my self-made description is a Christian libertarian environmentalist capitalist lunatic farmer. And each one of those points, you know, has assets and liabilities. So I kind of started that several years ago to poke fun at, don't put me in a pigeonhole. Let's go to questions. And we'll take about 8 minutes.
My name's Kim Cruz, and I'm the director of Regen Ag, which is a family-run business that I run with my wife Georgie, and we're both down here running this You Can Farm event with Joel Salatin, which is part of an overall tour of Queensland and northern New South Wales.
See, what we now know is that there is no such thing as wilderness. People have been touching the landscape, you know, for a long time. But anyone who's thinking realizes that much of this touching has been detrimental. We absolutely understand that. All the deserts are man-made.
Joel is a bit of a poster boy for regenerative agriculture worldwide, and his farm, Polyface, is, you know, epitomises the kind of farm that we must have in the future. He's probably one of the most recognised farmers in the world. Time magazine called him the world's best farmer. He turns over about $10,000 an acre a year and sells directly to 6,000 families, 50 restaurants and 10 retail outlets. Now, back in 1961, his family, who had been chased out of Venezuela, you know, the guerrillas coming in the back door with machine guns, and they were going out the front door with the clothes on their back, decided to purchase a farm in Swoop, Virginia, which is his farm, Polyface Farm. So they've been there since 1961, when Joel was 4 years old. It had no soil. I mean, when I say no soil, Joel just told the story this morning to the people in the room that they did not even have soil to put electric fence stakes in. That's how bad it was. So his father had to get truck tyres and fill them with concrete with it. That's how bad it was. So that's how we began today's event, to say, don't tell me that it can't be done and that you're lucky and you've got the fertile place, because Joel really started from the base of nothing.
And so we believe in environmentalism by participation, okay? Using our big heads and opposing thumbs and bringing our creativity to the landscape. So the pigs then tease out the new growth here and stimulate production.
I'll take you up and show you the chooks. My wife and I, my wife's Emma, bought this property called the Farm at Byron Bay about a year ago, with the vision to bring to life the idea of trying to get people to understand where their food comes from. So our mantra around this whole thing is grow, feed, educate. And it's not only growing produce, it's about growing people and small businesses, getting people connected as a community back to knowing where their food comes from. This is the original dairy bales when the property was a dairy. So we've tidied that up, almost finished. And got a fantastic young carpenter here called Bernie, he's been working on this for close to a year, and he's the guru of recycled. So this little kids' playground here, just about everything on there was either found on the property or within 10 kilometres of the property. Well, when we came up with the idea, we saw this block of land, and there was a DA put in for this block to turn it into 400 homes, and I just thought that was such a shame. Yeah, the first thing you see when you turn up to Byron Bay shouldn't be a housing estate. It should be what the region's about, which is, you know, rolling hills and great food. This is Mary, and that's Mary, and that's Mary. They're all happy, that's why we call them Mary. So that's where we started, and the whole thing's evolved since we've got our hands into it, but it's evolved in all the right ways, you know, with what we're growing and what we're doing. And today's a classic example of actually getting the education side of it by having Joel here, getting people to get enthused about farming and knowing where their food comes from.
I never grew up on a farm, so I'm from the city, and I've started getting into farming a few years ago, and I've done various apprenticeships and courses, and to be here with my friends that are involved in the restaurant that's going to be on site, and I just love the idea of getting a community involved and the whole educational side of it, and I couldn't think of a more beautiful place to do it as well.
We own a cafe and restaurant on the Gold Coast, So we're just down here educating ourselves on farming, and by the end of the year we'd love to have our own farm so we can provide produce to both our places.
This is really just, it's all about food security for me and for my kids. So that's what I'm planning on doing over a long period.
People, farmers are desperate for really working solutions. Many are up against the wall. They're trying to hang on. And so some of the things that we've discovered and tried that have worked so well resonate with people. Also, people who are wanting to make a living on a farm, and they're not quite sure where to go, but they know that Monsanto is not the way to go, and so they're looking for that that pathway to success in their operation.
Joel was only saying a couple of days ago that the early settlers came to Australia. Noted that Australia had an average soil carbon content of around 20%. Now it's less than 1%. So when you consider that, how much the water holding capacity of those landscapes has been that greatly diminished, we desperately need to go back to agricultural methodologies that don't just produce food, or at least don't produce food at the detriment of our ecosystems, but they regenerate our landscapes as a byproduct of food production.
Yeah, my popularity is, I don't think so much about me, it's about this whole, what I call the integrity food tsunami. We are literally on a surfboard here riding this ever increasing wave. And of course, the raspberry problem here in Australia last week from the Chinese raspberry imports didn't hurt our cause any, to help people realize that that transparency, short chains of custody, know your farmer, know your food, those are all ways to actually create food security and food sovereignty in our time, and that's an increasing wave.